Welcome back, Agent. To finish off our discussion on regular expression syntax, we're going to discuss just a few more useful methods you may find yourself using out in the field. First off, let's discuss the OR operator. Sometimes you're going to want to search for multiple terms. You can use the OR operator to do this. For example, if we say re.search, and then the pattern we want to search for is a string, for instance, just the string cat, and we say search the actual string, the cat is here. If we run this, we get a match for cat. But if it says the dog is here, as you expect, we don't get a match. What if we wanted to search for cat or dog? In that case, we can use the pipe operator. So the pipe operator looks like that, and that stands for or, meaning you can search for cat or dog, and then we'll get a match if there's a dog there or if there's a cat there. So that's the OR operator. There's also a wildcard operator, and the wildcard acts as a placement that will match any character placed there. So we'll use find all to show you an example of the wildcard operator. First, I'm just going to search for the string at or at, and I'll search for it in the string. The cat in the hat sat there. So notice I have 3 matches of at: cat, hat, and sat. But what if I actually wanted to grab the actual letter in front of AT? In that case, I can provide a period, and that stands for a wildcard, meaning anything here, any wildcard there, attached to AT. And then when I run this, I get back cat, hat, and sat. So again, the period can act as a wildcard for you. So notice how we're really only matching the first 3 letters, but if we had something longer, for instance, such as splat, so the cat in the hat will say went splat, what I could do is add more wildcards. So now I have, let's say, up to 3 wildcards here. So the cat in the hat went splat, so S-P-L-A-T. But keep in mind, these wildcard characters are also going to grab other letters and other spaces. So if I were to run this, I get back E space cat, E space hat, and then the full splat. And the reason I'm grabbing E space is because the wildcard characters are counting the stuff that comes before this first letter. So it's also counting this space and this E, as well as this space and this E for the cat and the hat. So keep that in mind as you use wildcard characters, the period. If you want more control, you'll want to use the character identifiers we discussed earlier. Again, period, essentially just a wildcard. All right, let's finally discuss starts with and ends with. So we can use this caret symbol. We'll show you in just a second. We'll say re find all. And if I want to find everything that starts with a number, what I can do is indicate this caret symbol or 2 power symbol. That's just shift number 6, and then type in what I'm looking for. So what this indicates is that the string I'm searching through starts with a number. So we'll say 1 is a number, and this returns a match for 1 because the entire text itself starts with the actual digit. Keep in mind, this is only for the entire text, not for a number randomly inside of this. So if I say the 2 is a number, I'm not going to get any matches here because it's only searching if the entire text itself starts with a number. So if I say 2 is a number, then I find my match for 2. Similarly, I can say ends with, and the way you do that is instead of a caret symbol, you just, at the end of this pattern, put a $sign, and that says ends with. So if I say 2 is a number, I don't get a match. But if I say the number is 2, then I do get a match. So again, $sign for ends with, and then this caret or power 2 sign for starts with. And then there's also ways you can use exclusion. So to exclude characters, we use this symbol, but we use it in conjunction with a set of brackets. So let's make a couple more cells here so we don't get confused by the earlier syntax. I'm going to create a phrase called there are 3 numbers, 34, just another number, inside 5 this sentence. Okay, so here I have a phrase, and it seems like there's just random numbers placed inside this sentence. What I want to do is find or get back everything that isn't a number in this sentence. So I want to exclude digits or exclude numbers. The format for that is the following. You'll say your pattern is equal to, and use inside of square brackets, just like you would for kind of a Python list, say whatever you want to exclude. So in this case, I want to exclude digits. So look at the syntax here. I have square braces or square brackets, this symbol, and then backslash lowercase d. So that just says exclude any digits. So anything that matches with this character identifier. And then if I say find all, pattern, and I put phrase here, I'm going to get back a list of every single character that was not a number. So I see there are, and then there's no number there, numbers inside this sentence. And what we can do is, if we actually want to get the words back together, I can add a plus sign to the end of this. Because remember, a plus sign, if we look back at our quantifiers, it just says occurs one or more times. So this is a nice way of regular expression to quickly remove things. So let's run these lines again. And now I can see there are, and it excluded essentially these groups of numbers. There are numbers inside this sentence. All right, so why would you use this exclusion syntax? This is a really common way to get rid of punctuation from a sentence. So we will say test underscore phrase is equal to, this is a string, exclamation point, but it has punctuation, period. How can we remove it? Question mark. Well, what we can do is the following. We'll say re find all, and inside of this, we're going to say square brackets, this symbol, and now I can add things I want to exclude. So I'm going to just put them in the same order. So I can say I want to exclude an exclamation point, I want to exclude a period, and I want to exclude a question mark, and then I can add a plus sign. So I just want to exclude those wherever they occur, and then we'll say test phrase, and now I get back the list. This is a string. Notice how it's essentially being split on any punctuation, but it has punctuation. How can we remove it? So there's no longer any punctuation there. And something else we can do is add a space here so that it will end up removing the spaces. And then I get back a list of all the words. Meaning, if I say this is clean, then now clean is all these words, and I can then join them. So I will say dot join clean, and I will join them all with a space itself. And then I get back, this is a string, but it has punctuation. How can we remove it? So these are some more complex tasks you can use with regular expressions. And obviously you can see here how this quickly can get very hard to read. So always break down regular expression pattern codes in order to try to help yourself understand what's actually happening. We're going to show you two more useful things you can use for regular expressions. And one of them is actually these brackets or braces here, these square brackets. And that actually is basically just for grouping things together. In the context of this caret symbol, essentially says group these things for exclusion, but you can also use them grouping for inclusion. So let's show a couple examples of that. We're going to create some text that says only find the hyphen dash words in this sentence, but you do not know how long dash ish they are. Okay, so we have this text, and basically the main point of this text is that I have hyphen dash words, and then later on I also have hyphen dash words. But note here how I don't know how many letters are before and how many letters are after this dash. So my main task is, given this piece of text, go ahead and find words that have a hyphen or a dash in the middle of them. So how would I do that? Well, the general pattern idea would be a group of alphanumeric words or characters dash, and then some other group of alphanumeric characters. So the way we do that is by filling out the following pattern. The pattern is going to be braces, and then inside these braces I will say \W, and then I'll add a plus sign there. And what this indicates is just a group of \w. So remember, back from our character identifiers, lowercase w is just an alphanumeric. So it's basically looking for a group of alphanumerics. And remember, with the plus, we're essentially saying occurs one or more times. So we can check for this pattern. We'll say re.findAll, and then we'll pass in the pattern, pass in the text, and it finds back any groups of alphanumerics. Now, if I want to find the hyphenated words, I'll say a group of alphanumerics that occurs one or more times, dash, and then another group of alphanumerics that occurs one or more times, and then I can get back the actual hyphenated words. Now, if we were to remove these actual braces so that it looks like this, you would get back the same results. However, some programmers, because this looks hard to read, they like to separate groups using this brace notation. And the brace notation also allows you to kind of combine things together. So maybe you're looking for a word and then some digits for some reason. You can use those braces to do this sort of grouping syntax. So just keep that in mind if out in the field you see sometimes people using braces like this. Often you'll see braces used in these sort of exclusion statements, but they can also be used for inclusion. And then you can also use parentheses for multiple options. So if we have multiple options for matching, you can use parentheses to list out these options. So I'm going to copy and paste some code here very quickly, just from the notebook that goes along with this video. And we say text is equal to hello, would you like some catfish? Text 2 says hello, would you like to take a cat nap? And then text 3 says hello, have you seen this caterpillar? So notice how all of these start with cat, and then it says fish, nap, pillar. So if you wanted to kind of find the different options, what you could do is say search cat, and then you can use parentheses to kind of group together multiple options. So we'll say fish, nap, and then you could say claw. So let's see how this works. We'll say text. So when I run that, it finds catfish. So that was the first instance of that. And then if I say text 2, it says cat nap. And if I say text 3, it doesn't find anything because I didn't say basically pillar. So I'm going to copy this and put that in there, pillar. And now if I check text 3, it finds the match. So all this is doing is allowing you to basically combine that OR statement we saw earlier with other pieces of text and provide multiple options. That's the basics of regular expressions, and you can check out the documentation page on regular expressions in the Python official documentation. It's linked to you at the bottom of the notebook for more information on regular expressions. Again, it can definitely very quickly get into some very complex looking syntax that is difficult to read, but always remember just the basics, where the main idea is you have some sort of character identifier and then attached to it some sort of quantifier if necessary. All right. Best of luck out there in the field, agent. I hope this was helpful for you.